Hello friends and followers. Well, here's the Drake TR4 fired up. I was doing some transmitting testing. I had broken this 12V V6 tube just because it's in the back and it breaks because it hits the table and busts off. Anyway, I got a new one in here and that enabled me to transmit on this thing. So I'm just because the filaments of the tube that turns on the relay, I think it's this one, wasn't fired up. So anyway, I can transmit now, and man, this thing is cranking out some power. So I'm on the, I can't memorize this thing, I can't memorize this National Power Supply's name, NCX something or other, NCXA power supply. Anyway, this thing's cranking about, I think 850 volts into the plates of these three sleep tubes in here, and man, this thing cranks. So some guy in here was saying, yeah, you can't get 200 watts out of your radio, blah, 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 you know, it's not possible. Because his reasoning was my antenna system was not resonant or at some weird resistance, and that was causing a false reading. Well, guess what? Here's a watt meter. It's going right to a dummy load, which is 100 watt dummy load right there. I can hit that with 200 watts for a second here and show you what's going on. So, yep, when I tune this thing up, turn it down, go to transmit, give it a smack. Easy 200 watts in this thing. And then some, so. Can you hear the power supply humming? That's on 40 meters. So anyway, it'll crank. Let's see about, say, 20 meters, what it will do. There's 20. I'm on the dummy load, of course. Turn that down. Let's see what it will do on 20, if anything. Pick it up. Okay, a little bit of power coming out. Resonate it. Let's give it a smack here. $125, give it some more load. Too much load. Well, 125, I guess, is all we're gonna get on 20 meters. Then maybe that's fine. Maybe that's cool beans on this thing, but that's a lot of power. Whoa. Wrong knob. Okay. Maybe 125 watts on 20 meters. What about 80 meters? Let's see. There's 80 meters there. Okay, let's see what we can do on this. Looking for a peak. I don't see anything on 80. Okay, a little bit there. Whoa, 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 there's a peak. And let's get some resonance here. There we go. All right, so on 80, we have no load into a dummy load here. Wow, it'll do 200 on 80 easy. Let's give it a touch load here. Peak it a bit. Smack it. Oh yeah, it'll do 200. On 80, into a dummy load, no problem. Winner, winner, chicken dinner on this thing. All right. I never checked 15. Let's give that a whack here. Okay. And let's see what this does, if anything. I still don't know this radio anymore. It's been years. Okay. I see it gobbling some plate current, but it's not doing anything. There's a bit of a dip right there. As I recall, 15 wants a lot of load, so crank it up. Wow, this thing really goes. So in 15, I'm seeing some power here. $125. Let's get greedy here, more load. Give that a peek. There we go. Hit it. Obviously it's too much load. Let's take it back. Damn, I keep getting the wrong knob. All right, so 125 is going to be what we get on 15 meters. And now the venerable 10 meters. Let's go in the middle here, I guess. Middle of 10. Of course, 10 needs neutralized all the time. It spurs and problems and all that stuff. But let's see what happens, if anything. If anything. Damn that thing. Okay, there we go. Well, there's some power already. Peek that. Dip it. This is the first radio that I've not ever had to do extensive work on that I've bought on eBay. It's crazy. It's just clean. It works. This must be a WB4HFN fixer. Somebody fixed and then the guy died or something. The owner died. I don't know. It just works. Okay, here's 10. 75 watts. Crank some more load here. And try it. Whoops, keep hitting the wrong knob. Okay, 10 doesn't like that. $100 watts on 10, maybe. Fully cranked up. I guess that's all we're going to do on 10, and I guess that's fine. 100 watts is respectable on 10 meters for me anyway. Let's see what we can do here. Still a little uncertain of this radio. I just haven't touched one in a long time. Well, heading up there a bit. A little less load. Yeah, Collins like a lot of load on 10s. Or really, I think when you crank this load, you're actually giving it less capacitance. So it's actually less load. It's weird. It's inverse. Anyway, enough of that. Here we go. So yeah, it'll do 100 watts on 10 meters. So here's, boy, it's very hot. So here's the lowdown. 80 meters, 200 watts. 40 meters, 200 watts. 20 meters, about 125 watts. 15, about, I think 100. 10, 100 watts. Winner. Quite the radio. All right, David, there's your video, and others who want to see this thing crank. Yep, it did pop the fuse in the power supply, and I don't have a big enough fuse in there. When I started transmitting, the power supply popped the fuse. I thought, oh no, this thing burned up again, but no. I have this power supply exactly its spec, what National did with it. I didn't really monkey around with changing anything. Just put in some new bleeder resistors across the capacitors, and I put in new diodes. And I thought, yeah, I cranked this thing up and it popped. It popped the fuse, and I thought, you know what, can't find a fuse. I just jammed a screwdriver back in there and went on with my testing. So I figured if you blow up, and I don't care. Okay, so I gotta buy some fuses for it, but it's working. Okay, thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day. And it's on to the next project, which is this big mess over here. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.